Hello and welcome to Bud's RPG Review, where I give my thoughts on role-playing games, card games and board games. Today's review is 2014's One Night Ultimate Werewolf by Bézier Games. Okay, first a bit of history. One Night Ultimate Werewolf is a 3 to 10 player game that is roughly based on Bézier Games' 2008 release Ultimate Werewolf. It describes itself as a game of social deduction and basic poker-face lying. Okay, to the box. Inside the box we have 16 cards that describe the various roles of the game. 16 double-sized roll tokens, a table of contents that describes all of the roles from the cards, and a 4-page rulebook. The art on the cards is nicely done in a cartoon style that suits the spirit of the game, and the production values are good, although you should be careful when popping the cards out as they look like they would be easy to rip. The basic premise of the game is that each player takes the role of a villager, a werewolf, or another special character with the intention, through the game mechanic, of figuring out who the werewolves are and killing at least one of them to win, unless you end up being a werewolf yourself. For the purpose of explaining the mechanics of the game, I'll show you what should happen in a 3-player situation. One player, we call them the announcer, takes the 2 werewolf cards, a villager card and a robber card, as well as a seer and troublemaker card, shuffles them together and lays 1 card in front of each player thus, and 3 in the middle, along with the corresponding roll tokens. Each player should secretly take a look at their card to find out their role, and then the game begins in its first phase. Phase 1 is the night. Every player closes their eyes. Phase 2 is that the werewolves open their eyes and look for other werewolves. There may be none or up to 2 present at this stage. Phase 3 is that the werewolves close their eyes and then the seer open theirs and can look at other players' cards or 2 of the centre cards. Phase 5 is that the seer closes their eyes and then the robber opens theirs. They can then exchange their card with another player and then view their card. This is optional. Phase 6 is the robber closing their eyes and the troublemaker opening theirs. They may then exchange cards between 2 other players. Again, this is all optional. Phase 7, the troublemaker closes their eyes. Phase 8, everyone wakes up. This is the end of the night phase and the beginning of the day phase. The players then have 5 minutes to discuss amongst themselves who the werewolves are. The players may say anything at this stage but cannot show their card to anybody else or view their own. It is the werewolves' job to avoid accusation and even claim to be another role, or even lay it on other players however they can so that they don't die. Due to the potential change in roles, some players may believe that they are one role and are in fact another. After a few minutes of discussion, the players vote on who the werewolf or werewolves are. That player dies and reveals their card. At a tie, all players reveal their cards. If nobody receives more than 1 vote, nobody wins. The villagers win if at least 1 werewolf dies. The werewolves win if at least 1 player is a werewolf and no werewolves die. The roll tokens are used by the players to keep track of their deductions of people's rolls, with the black and white flip side version being used when a roll is contested. And that's the basic game. Different other roles with their own rules are added as more players are added. The rules for those are present too. It's worth mentioning at this point that there is a One Night Ultimate Werewolf app for iPhone and Android that greatly assists in the mechanics and timing of the game, and additionally acts as the announcer. A single game of this should take around 10 minutes. One Night Ultimate Werewolf is an interesting study in barefaced lying, listening to environmental cues and blind luck, but all in the nicest sense. It's fun and thankfully short, but not particularly deep, and if you're not good at lying you may have difficulty with this. Listening for the activities of other players as you go through the various phases was fun, and trying to pick up on the body language of other players was both frustrating and fulfilling when you were correct. For this review I played a few games of One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and my initial feelings were that it would be better with more players, but possibly a bit chaotic with the full 10, although that is just a supposition. And it definitely has a feel of a family game as well as one for a gang of friends. I found it an enjoyable distraction that was easy to pick up, easy to teach children with a great app, although it is quite expensive given how little is actually in the box. I give One Night Ultimate Werewolf a solid 7 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to check out my other reviews. Bud out.